American, fight for the rights of every man. No, I'm just bullshitting, y'all. This is your boy, Man Mike, coming at you guys with yet another Atlanta Falcons video. Nope, this is a Unleashed. Ha, gotcha, man. I want to send a heartfelt, happy birthday to AFN crew members. Big Willie, happy birthday, Big Willie. As well as Rondrell. Yeah, Rondrell from Roscoe. Yeah, Rondrell and Roscoe from the amazing skit that we put together. So happy birthday, fellas. Rondrell is about 250 years old. So I want to send him a happy birthday. But again, I want to thank everybody who came out to the red and black event. Man, we had an amazing time with all the people. DJ Dunn one, shout out to you. The owners, Brown and Orlando, for giving us the opportunity to kind of showcase what we can do, bring in the people of Atlanta Falcons Nation, and just show our appreciation to you guys for opening up your place and giving us the opportunity to host our event at the playground. So I truly appreciate Lando, Brown, as well as the OG himself for putting it all together. Big Chauncey, even though he's abandoned me. I haven't talked to my brother in about 2 months. I guess he's abandoned us. He don't love us no more. He said he don't love the mouse. So y'all hit up Chauncey and say, man, why are you abandoning AFN like that? They haven't heard from you in God knows how long. So I'm still kind of mad about that he doesn't want to have a conversation with AFN anymore. He don't love us no more. So but of Unleashed, something that I gotta talk about, because it's an ongoing situation and it's quite sad, to be honest. And I've been going off the last couple of days on this particular subject because for whatever reason, NFL don't think this thing is absolutely real. They really don't think it's real. Okay? They don't think this particular thing exists. They think just because they see billionaires with billions of dollars that they can use every billion and every million at their disposal anytime they feel like it. But there's a such thing called rules. Yeah, there is a such thing called as rules. Anybody put some red in the black, put some NFL, put an NFL emoji, put something up, put a thumbs up if you know that there's a such thing called a salary cap in the NFL. I want to know how many people in this world understands that there's a such thing as restrictions. Even the IRS has restrictions. When you make a certain amount of money, the IRS say, you know what, you owe me this amount. You know what, you have this amount, but if you have financial advisor, they saying, hey, bro, relax on the spending. You only have X amount of dollars to spend. Like, what are you doing? You out here just spending money like you ain't got a bill to pay. You out here spending money like you ain't got stuff to do.
Why? So you don't drill?
No. Come out here and ask me that. So, let me know if you guys understand the value of dollars. Like, you do know there's a such thing as I don't think NFL fans understand that. Like, I cannot believe that people have been watching us for over 5 years and they still have not conceded or they have not listened to any damn thing that we've said. What is wrong with you people? Yaski, what's going on, pimping? Nathan Flo, what's going on? What is wrong with you? What? How do you not understand that the NFL has rules and regulation regarding the money that they have to spend? Do you realize that the NFL has a thing called revenue sharing? B has, what's going on, pimpin'? Dre Murphy, what's going on? But the NFL does have this thing called revenue sharing. You know why the revenue sharing, why it exists? Anybody want to take a wild guess? Anybody want to take a wild guess as to why the NFL has a thing called revenue sharing with the top teams and the bottom teams? Anybody want to take a wild guess? While TV contracts, how TV contracts even work, and how contracts within the NFL works. Anybody want to take a wild guess as to why these things happen and why it is in place? Some people just listen to what they want to hear, man. And you know the NFL salary cap is capped. Yeah, sure. What you just wrote is a bunch of cap. Like, anybody want to take a wild guess as to why that actually exists? So a team can buy a championship. Can't buy a championship. Pretty much, B. Because there are cities in the country where, let's just say, they call Atlanta Hollywood East, because all the celebrities are moving not only in LA, but a lot of them are in Atlanta, and they're relocating to Atlanta. So Atlanta is one of the richest cities and obviously one of the busiest cities in the freaking world, especially with Huxtable Airport. So this is one of the busiest cities in the entire world. There's always something running out of the state of Georgia and running out of the city of Atlanta. So money comes in, money goes out. Money comes in, money goes out. Hey, money comes in, money goes out. Hey, money comes in. But there's money in Atlanta. There are people in Atlanta. It's a lot of people that's there. Samuel Jackson, everybody remember him? Mr. Motherfucker, who's an Atlanta Falcons fan. Mr. Motherfucker himself, Samuel L. Jackson, the guy that has been in Star Wars movies. And this is one of the richest franchises in entertainment history. So money is here. Money is in Texas. Money is in California. Money is in New York. Money is in New Jersey. Money is in Maine and the New England states. So when you have the money in those particular states, and then you have cities like Jacksonville, they're not Miami. It's not a lot of people when you talk about like the fan base and people. The fan base for the Dallas Cowboys is the richest fan base. It's called America's team is because damn near everybody in the universe would want to be a damn Dallas Cowboy fan. Because Texas was once one of those teams, Dallas Cowboys were one of those teams that you used to buy all the talent up and sit up here, and like B has said, they would buy championships. Why? How would they buy championships? Well, they would just offer the best talent more money. And back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, that's exactly what they used to do. They used to use all their money and all their finances, all their businesses, and entice players to come play for that franchise. And then when you have smaller cities at that particular time, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, they weren't as big or as popular. When it comes down to business. So they couldn't compete with the Dallas Cowboys. They couldn't compete with the Green Bay Packers and whatnot. They couldn't compete with the New York teams. They couldn't offer players maximum contract. They couldn't go 49ers financially. So they came up with a revenue sharing idea where the Dallas Cowboys, they would make, for example, in the 70s, $200, $300 million. And a team like Atlanta, for example, they would make maybe $100 million in a year. And that's a huge maybe. So franchises like the Dallas Cowboys would pile up damn near $1 billion in revenue. But the teams like Atlanta, who couldn't compete and who could not get certain players and entice certain players, that's why they came up with the draft strategy. That's how the draft strategy come. The worst teams end up getting the first picks. Because guess what? They couldn't compete. So they had to give them a quote unquote a way to compete with other and bring in better players. So that's how the draft that's how the draft and all that start coming. But revenue sharing is for teams that cannot compete. So they came up with the revenue sharing. So teams and franchises like the San Francisco 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, those teams were always on TV in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They was all on TV. That's all people would want to see. They didn't want to see any other team. So they would make all the TV money. They would make all the money from games and spending money. And the other teams will make chump change. So on no way, this is how they came up with a revenue strategy. So these teams could compete and they could build better facilities, a better experience for their fans to entice these people to end up coming to the games. Make the food cheaper. Like this is the reason why this is the example. This is the reason why these things exist. The revenue share. And ultimately, they came up with an idea that is called today a salary cap. That salary cap was put in place because organizations, again, mainly the Dallas Cowboys, they would offer millions and millions of dollars to players to stay with their particular team. And in certain cases, they would sign some of the best players to long contracts. And those players felt as though that it wasn't enough. Like they would give certain guys a certain amount of money to ultimately, let's just keep it real. To be a slave for your team, yeah, you were the highest paid player on your team, but compared to what the organization is making, you're making chump change. So that's one of the reasons why they even came up with the salary cap. So, like I said, one of the things about NFL free agency that, and the salary cap that people need to know, and I know a lot of people ain't. I know a lot of people probably they could care less about the start of free agency, but this is very important. Why? It's because, and JM, that's exactly right. It's called NFL parity. You don't want to have the same three teams in the same playoff. Like at the end of the day, that gets boring. I don't want to see the same thing. That's one of the main reasons why people got tired of the Patriots, because they were doing everything possible to stay in that spot. They would do anything, including cheating in the NFL, would give them leniency because they had their golden boy. Their golden boy would make them hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. So, one, before I get into that, is that, and get into this particular topic, and I know you guys see the numbers on the screen right now, is that, and I'm trying to bring up this, because a lot of people don't know the history of even free agency, how it began, why it began, and like I said, this is one of the things why they call legal tampering. There's another thing why they have the salary cap. It's because teams have an unfair advantage. Because teams like the New England Patriots, they have guys and people, agents. They have agents that's, connected to certain organizations. And we've seen that even with LeBron James. We've seen that with the Warriors. We've seen this in the NBA, where we have these super agents, and all these super agents, they combine, and what they do is combine, and they get all of the best players and say, hey, I can get you $100 million contract if you sign with me. And then all the best players sign with that one agency. Why? Because that one agency is connected to ESPN and Fox and some of the best TV shows and the most popular TV shows. The Nikes, the Reeboks, they have all of that. So this is one of the main reasons why the salary cap and the free agency, legal tampering, all these things exist because of this. Because we have teams, organizations that will manipulate things in their favor. They will put out, I know we all know this too. They will put out different reports on guys and say, oh, this dude is a crackhead. Oh, this guy's a drunk. He's an alcoholic. These things that they put out. So this is the reason why you got legal tampering and all these rules around players is because NFL franchises will take advantage of it. So I'm saying all of this to say this, and I'm about to get right into why I said all of this. Because people don't think financial issues, or people think because we have a billionaire as an owner, like, Ford's, the Arthur Blanks, the Joneses, like, people don't believe that this is real. That you can just go out and just spend money anytime and however you feel it. And you can just bring all the best players on one team and you can draft all the best. Because we have even situations where we've had players like the Mannings that went out of their way to manipulate the system. Why? They manipulate the system. Make no mistake about it. I love the Mannings. I really do love the Mannings. But this is why league parity is important. This is why salary cap and these tampering issues, and even if it doesn't benefit the Atlanta Falcons, this is why these rules are in place. It's because we don't want guys and teams to have an unfair advantage and they can just stockpile a bunch of talent and put them on one particular team, and we have no parity. Now the Atlanta Falcons, let's keep it real. I don't think that they tampered, but the fact that we did get something taken away from them, we did something wrong. Yeah, we paid the price for it. Small price, but this is the reason why you have these rules in place. We end up getting 2 quarterbacks. What team in the NFL has 2 quarterbacks? Not like this. Not a quarterback that is a borderline Hall of Famer. Not saying that Kirk Cousins, he's a borderline. He got some pretty good numbers. If he continues for the next 2 or 3 years to put up numbers, he'd be a borderline for sure. But he's a damn good quarterback. But that's a whole nother debate. But if he continues for the next 2 to 3 years, put up 4,000 or 5,000 yards, then you can talk about him being a borderline Hall of Famer. And then you draft a guy like Mike Penix, a.k.a. Junebug, a.k.a. Durag Shouty, a.k.a. Mr. Mike Vick 2.0. Who does that? So, again, this is the reason why you have legal tampering. This is why you have salary cap. This is the reason why you have free agency and all these type of things, because organizations will use their finances to bring in the best coaches. They will bring in the best players. They will bring in the best scouts. They will manipulate the media with their money. They do pay, and this is another thing that a lot of people don't know. They pay these guys. Organizations pay journalists to find and make up lies and stories to put on certain players. We've seen this time and time again. Well, the media will make up a complete lie about somebody, embellish the truth, and then next thing you know, this guy's name is being destroyed in the dirt. Why? Because they want this guy to be out so they can end up signing this guy to a $50 million contract. We seen this time and time again. How many times have you guys heard when we seen this with T.O.? We seen this with T.O. They manipulated this guy. And made him look like he was the worst person in the universe. He was so bad, so terrible. He was a horrible teammate. He was a horrible player. All of this. T.O. was just the worst player ever, if you listen to the media. And then what happened? They ended up signing T.O. to a contract. And a lot of times, it's be the teams that's trying to sign him, that put all this bad stuff on him. Teams that try to sign him, they put this bad press on the guy just so they can end up signing him. And like I said, keep that real. So teams do these types of things. These things are real. Like this dude has been for the most part. And it wasn't Andy Reid. Andy Reid was in a situation where he didn't have as much. Andy Reid didn't have as much power in Philadelphia than a lot of people thought. That organization, they wanted Donovan McNabb. They saw Donovan McNabb as a perfect guy. They saw Donovan McNabb as a perfect player. But Andy Reid didn't have a lot of power that he has now with the Kansas City Chiefs. And looking back on it, they should have given Andy Reid more power, because you see what he can do when he does have that power. He brought his dude Spags down, and Spags looked like a damn good, Spags looked like a damn near borderline defensive coach. Like, he looked like a borderline Hall of Fame coach, the way he's doing and he putting together that team. Like, so I'm saying all that to say this is, like, sometimes we look at, I'm not incorrect. I'm not incorrect. I know my history, so I don't know if you're talking to me, JM, but Andy Reid was not in complete control like that. I don't know who told you that. I don't know what world you in, but Andy Reid did not have full control over that roster like he does with Kansas City. Yeah, you can live and feel all you want to, but you don't know what you're talking about. Andy Reid did not have full control over that team. Want me to tell you how? I said team. I didn't say offense. I said team. Andy Reid had complete control over that offense as far as the roster is concerned. But when it came down to the quarterback and who he wanted, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't have complete control of that roster. If that was the case, guess who would still be there? He would still be there. T.O. would have still been there. He did not choose Andy Reid. The organization chose him. That's why he left. He decided to go because he wanted more power. Like I said, you believe that if you want to, but Andy Reid did not have full control over that roster. He did not have full control over his offense. This man said Andy Reid never paid wide receivers. I didn't know Andy Reid actually paid. Like, you do realize that. See, this is when people wrong about stuff. They double down on things and they not even thinking about what he's saying. Why would a guy who's a quarterback guru say that he's not gonna pay wide receivers? How does that make sense? Yeah. How like that man gave all his quarterbacks weapons. To say that Andy Reid didn't like to pay or he did not pay wide receivers is not true. This is the main reason why T.O. was even brought to the team to begin with. Come on, JM. Like, take a time, slow down, get out of your feelings, and actually think before you type things. And I do love you, bro. I do love you, but you're absolutely wrong. Andy Reid has always paid his guys. The most important guys, he's always paid them. Including the tight end. Including offensive linemen. To say that he never gave him weapons, again, that's not Andy Reid. Because Andy Reid did not have full control over his roster. Okay, let me say this. Let me try to explain this. There is a couple of things for coaches that they need. and that they have. They have a say-so in offense, in the roster, and the guys that they want. They have a say-so. Okay, let me say this again. Offensive coaches and coaches in itself, especially if you're an offensive guy, you have a say-so in the type of player that you want to be on your roster. Which is what a guy like Arthur Smith, for example, Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith, Dirk Cutter, these guys have an idea. They have a say-so in the players that they want. They have a types of running backs that they want. They have a say-so in the types of offensive linemen that they want. But ultimately, the power comes down to the front office and the team president. Okay? And this is what Andy Reid, even though he had a lot of leniency and he did in fact bring in some guys, but he did not have total control over his roster and the types of player that he wanted to pay, the guy that he wanted to draft, the guy that he wanted to cut. He did not have 100%. And this is why he only chose one team, and that was Kansas City, because these guys gave him total control over his roster, his offensive roster. So, and then there's another style of offensive coordinator or coach where they have complete control. Roster, if they can cut the guy, who they can trade for, all of these things. A guy like Bill Belichick, Andy Reid as of now, Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, he has complete control of the offense. This is exactly why he left the Atlanta Falcons, because he had complete control over that offense. As defensively, Kyle Shanahan doesn't have a say-so. That's what John Lynch is there for. This is why they have a defensive coordinator. John Lynch controls the offensive side, the defensive side of the ball. Which is why we see right now where the 49ers are what? Ninth. When it comes down to the most expensive offenses in the NFL. So there's several categories of coaches and power. There are coaches that have a say-so, and coaches that have complete control over their offense. When he was in Philadelphia, he did in fact have a say-so and the types of players that he wanted, but he did not have complete control. And I hate to say this, but this is one of the main reasons why, if you look at that team, they failed on a lot of levels because Andy Reid wanted to do certain things. A lot of bad luck, but a lot of the players that he wanted, that they had on the offensive side of the ball, he didn't get. And he only got that when he left. So just because you're a head coach doesn't mean you have complete control of your offense or your defense. Dan Quinn didn't have a real say-so on the offensive side of the ball. He did not have complete control the way people think is. And that's the thing. Just because you're the head coach don't mean you got a complete control. Just because you are the general manager doesn't mean that you have complete control over that team. A lot of that falls down to the team president and the owner. And I mean the team president of football operations, not a guy just, that has the title. There were several titles when it comes down to that. So I want to kind of clean up the misconception, because people think just because you're the head coach that you got power. Nah. It's the reason why we got stuck with Tack. Why we end up drafting Calvin Ridley when we didn't have Cal. We didn't really even need Calvin Ridley. Georgia, Texas boy, what's good? JM, I love you, pimp, but you wrong, pimp. Sorry, but it's a known fact that Andy Reid wanted complete power and complete control over his offense, the offensive roster. Andy Reid decided to make that change and not bring Tyreek Hill back. Andy Reid knew that he could build another offensive line and not play certain guys. Andy Reid knew that. So you may want to get your knowledge up, JM, when it comes down to Andy Reid, because Andy Reid is what I know. He's one of my favorite coaches, and I know his system, and I know what he's been through. We've been studying him, especially me. I've been telling people for a while that the Atlanta Falcons offense is going to turn exactly into that Kansas City Chiefs offense. Not exactly, but a lot of things that they do, the Falcons are going to be doing similar. And I've been saying that for a while now, with the formations and all. Oh, because he know I'm right. Like a lot of people, doing Texas boy, a lot of people like to argue when they think they have a response and they can't combat it. He has no proof to say that Andy Reid had complete control, because he didn't. There's no facts behind it. You can only say that he was the head coach. But if you look at the moves compared to where he is now, can we really say that Andy Reid? Because Andy Reid has won three Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs. Two, three. And then he lost 4 straight NFC championships. He lost 4 NFC championships with the Philadelphia Eagles. And you tell me what has gone, like what's difference? They had a better defense with the Eagles than they do with the Chiefs. But tell me besides Patrick Mahomes, let's keep that real, Donovan McNabb was still a damn good quarterback. So he had a damn good quarterback. But you tell me what went wrong. What's the difference between Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs? Because it's really not much. He understands that you need to run the ball a little bit more now. That's why Andy Reid understands you need balance now. You need a quarterback that's not going to throw the ball, get a ball away. Andy Reid has always had full control. Okay. Hey, JM, look. If you can prove to me that Andy Reid had full control in Philadelphia, I'll send you money. I think we'll all pitch in and send $1 to you. Everybody, every 9,000 people. So you had the potential to have 9,000 dollars if you can prove to us that Andy Reid had full control with the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, Nathan, they fired the all-time winningest coach. Why? Because if you fire one of the all-time winningest coach in that franchise history, why are you firing him if he winning? You fire him because you think you can do better without him. Yeah, so again, see, let me explain something. I'm about to give y'all a history on the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, so Jeffrey Lurie, Mr. Lurie, he did not trust Andy Reid with the running back position. He did not trust Andy Reid with the fullback offensive line position. He didn't trust him. So he didn't give him those. And this is absolute truth. You can ask any Philadelphia Eagles fan. They did not give him power because Lurie did not trust Andy Reid when it comes down to that position. So what happened? They made decisions for him offensively. So again, that goes back to what I was saying about control of his offense. And that goes into bringing in the coaches that he wants. Andy Reid did not have full control over that offense. There again, you go back and look at Jeffrey Lurie. These guys, those guys have been fighting in Philadelphia when they were there for a good 10 plus years because he did not have the full say in his offense and how he wanted to run. It was a constant battle between Andy Reid and then Andy Reid and Lurie. And a lot of things that end up happening is that, especially in the playoff issues, it wasn't the defense. It wasn't the fact that they weren't putting up points. It's that you had a quarterback and Donovan McNabb who sucked ass. Donovan McNabb was ass, pure ass. Go look at his numbers, him playing well. So the fact isn't that Andy Reid did not put up numbers when he was with Philadelphia. Because his running backs, his players, his wide receivers, his tight ends, his quarterback, all of them put up numbers. But there were times where the defense did not make plays when they needed to make plays. Now, these are facts. Go look at Andy Reid offenses with Philadelphia. Donovan McNabb put up hellified numbers. But again, he was only allowed to make decisions when it came down to certain positions. They did not trust him. So Lori and Andy Reid, they decided to leave because they thought they could do better with that offense Andy Reid did. And then when Andy Reid left, well, they weren't the same Philadelphia Eagles thing. Hey, JM, again, you haven't proven to me that he didn't have wide receivers. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons didn't have wide receivers. What they got to do with anything? You got a good quarterback, he still put up numbers. Why everybody got to say, oh, you don't have a wide receiver? No, you don't have a wide receiver that you like. Don't give me that shit about like they didn't have wide receivers, because that's stupid. That's not true, and it's pure ignorance. There's nothing true about saying the Philadelphia Eagles didn't have good wide receivers. No, you didn't like the wide receivers because it ain't a superstar. He not wearing gold chains, or he's not putting up 2,000 yards, so he's not good in your eyes. James Thrash was a pretty good wide receiver. Freddie Mitchell, all those guys put up numbers. And if you know anything about Andy Reid's system, he doesn't heavily rely on his wide receivers like that anyway. How are you supposed to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan and you don't know that Andy Reid don't rely on his wide receivers like that? He's always relied on running backs catching the ball out of the backfield. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, how can you be a Philadelphia Eagles fan and then complaining about Andy Reid not having wide receivers? He doesn't need wide receivers like that. That's why he allowed Tyreek Hill to get the hell on. And guess what happened? He ended up getting Pacheco, and Pacheco became that guy. All his Darren Sproles, Brian Westbrook, these guys have always been heavy in the game catching the ball out of the backfield for him. What the fuck is you talking about? He don't need wide receivers like that. He needs wide receivers to make key catches in key moments. But he's always been a offensive coordinator that could deal with what he is. He can make nothing out of something. That is always particular super at a position at a wide receiver. Like I thought you were supposed to be. I thought you was a Philadelphia Eagles fan and you saying something like this. It doesn't seem like wide receivers aren't fundamental in Andy Reid's offense, West Coast offense. JM, you do know what the West Coast offense is, right? This man said the West Coast offense is primarily about 11 personnel. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. That is not true whatsoever. The West Coast offense is not about a formation. Good God Almighty. This man said the West Coast offense is about a formation. Good God Almighty. Corey, explain to him that again. The West Coast offense was based on short passes and long runs, so I don't get what you're saying. What are you talking about? That is not what the offense... See, this is exactly what you're talking about. The West Coast offense is predicated on short, quick, aka balance. It has nothing to do, quote unquote, formations or 11 personnel. No, that's not true. That's a spread offense. The spread offense is a type of the spread offense is basically based off being in the shotgun. That's what the spread offense essentially is. The pistol, shotgun, like is primarily based on that. That's what the spread is. The West Coast offense doesn't have a particular formation because it's predicated on short passes, getting the ball out of your hand quick passes, getting the ball out of the quarterback hand, having a quarterback that can move around, get the ball out of his hand so he can move around, he can scramble, getting the ball to your running backs out of the backfield, a lot of zone, a lot of sweeps, a lot of runs up the middle. So like the West Coast offense is one of the most, it's why everybody uses it, because it's the most balanced offense. So the West Coast offense is not primarily 11 personnel. I don't know where you got that from, but that's not true at all. That man said, this man said the West Coast offense is wide receiver centric. No, it's not, bro. You ever heard this guy, Ricky Waters? Anybody remember Ricky Waters? There were times where, yeah, I am saying that. Right. Andy Reid, he learns to adapt. We saw in the playoffs where I saw them in pistol formations when they had 3 tight ends, and all he did in that fourth quarter was pass the ball to their tight ends. Or they went to a big formation, a pro set, or 13 personnel where he's just dumping the ball out to Westbrook and Pacheco. Like I've seen this, and Darren Sproles, those guys end up. So no, he does not solely, his offense is not primarily all about why. I don't know where you got this from, but it's not true whatsoever. And that's not what the West Coast offense is primarily. Because if it was wide receiver centric, the West Coast offense wouldn't even be. It wouldn't, if Andy Reid offense was predicated on having elite wide receivers, then what's the point of him throwing the ball to the running backs? Well, having the running backs have 60 to about 80 catches a year, wide receiver centric. You go back and you look at the stats of that team with the Philadelphia Eagles, Brian Westbrook was always second, third, fourth in receptions. But we talking about his sets was focused on wide receiver. That's not true. You look at right now with the Kansas City Chiefs, who is the target for them? Yeah, somebody who's the number one target of the Kansas City Chiefs right now? If his offense is predicated on wide receivers, who right now is his primary target? Somebody tell me that. Answer that for me, Mr. JM. Who is his top primary target? If he's looking for if he needs a wide receiver to be a superstar, if he needs a superstar offense, why hasn't he drafted a number 1 wide receiver in the top 10? He hasn't done that. When was the last time Andy Reid drafted a wide receiver in the top 10? No. We're not talking about that now. You said come on, Mr. JM. Come on, Mr. JM, Mr. J. If his offense is predicated on having 3 wide receivers, why hasn't Andy Reid drafted a wide receiver in the top 10? Okay, if that's what he needs. No. I don't. When he had, you can trade. No. We're not doing this. When the last time he had a top 10 pick? Anybody can get a top 10 pick. Anybody can get a top 10 pick. You know how they can get the top 10 pick? By trading away players and trading away draft picks to go up in the drafts. So that's not an excuse. Okay? Come on, no. Answer the question. You look, the Atlanta Falcons didn't have a top 10 pick. And they end up, the Falcons traded all their picks to go up and get Julio Jones. That's not an excuse to say, all right, he didn't have, when was the last time he had a top 10 pick? Anybody team trade they damn near their whole team to go up to get the number 1 pick. So there ain't no excuse to say when was the last time. Again, if Andy Reid's system is predicated on having 3 good wide receivers, why hasn't he drafted great wide receivers? He always wait to the end of the first round or even the second and third round to get his wide receivers. He spent his first round picks on getting offensive linemen. Yeah, he panicking now, y'all. Look at him. He panicking like a mother. He don't even know what he wanted. JM don't know what he wanted to say. I ain't added that. We're not adding anything. Again, you said that the West Coast offense is predicated off of having 3 wide receivers and 11 personnel. So if that is so, why hasn't Andy Reid drafted a wide receiver in the first round? No, you did say they never had any good wide receivers. So now he's saying he never said he never had good wide receivers. You just literally said James Thrash, Freddie Mitchell wasn't good. Now you saying I never said good. Boy. If you can put a dress on this man and see him dance. Put a dress on this man and see him dance. Good God almighty, y'all. Dancing, boy. You just said that man don't that man don't know what the fuck he want. He don't know what he thinking now. This how y'all act in Philly. This is what Philly. This is Philadelphia people for y'all. This is exactly why I hate everything about Philadelphia. They don't even know what the fuck they be talking about. They make up shit as it go. Oh, they need the West Coast offense about 3 wide receivers. No, the West Coast offense is about 11 personnel. I never said that they weren't good. I never said that. And I didn't change that. What are you saying, Jay? Because I think we all are confused in here right about now. I'm typing, everybody type one-handed. There ain't no damn excuse, okay? That man said he typing one-handed. He can't type one-handed. Like, the hell? I said Andy Reid doesn't value wide receivers. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You do know tight ends are wide receivers too, right? They're called pass catchers. A quarterback don't care about who can catch the ball. All they care about that the guy can the guy catch the pass and make a move. All this, he don't care about wide receivers. That's a damn excuse from a damn fan. It's a stupid excuse. Because how many times have we seen guys have 1,800 yards and they still can't make it out they can't even make it to the playoffs. But you up here trying to say because Andy Reid didn't have good wide receivers in Philadelphia, then how the hell they make it to 4 straight NFC championships if they didn't have good wide receivers? Man, the crack, y'all got to put this pipe down, bro. Crack is not good, okay? It got fentanyl in it. Leave it alone. It is not good for you. The Baltimore Ravens didn't have great wide receivers, okay? They had good running backs and they had good tight ends. All these ignorant excuses about why you need to have a wide receiver is stupid and it's baseless. Now it's because of the defense. Now he don't switch it up and say, all right, Andy Reid was only good because of the defense. So is that what you're saying? It's because they always had a top 3 defense, which is not true. That's not true at all. But they didn't make it to the Super Bowl because the defense gave up big plays, and your boy Donovan McNabb was a turnover machine. Like Andy plays, and he would have to get conservative because he had a quarterback that could not stop turning the ball over. No, I know, Jim. I know, Jay. Yeah, and they failed every time they got into the playoffs too. That man said, now he ain't got nobody to throw to. Good God Almighty. Atlanta Falcons Nation, Atlanta Falcons fan, NFL fans all around the world. This is what you call a fan that just wants to be right. This man done switched up his story 15 times. I learned something new today. That the West Coast offense is based off having 3 wide receivers. That man said the Chiefs defense carries them to the playoffs. No, that's not true. They play team ball. They're a complete team. They have one of the best special teams in Harrison Buckner. Their punter, I forget the punter's name. And then they have a great defense, and their defense has changed every year, damn near every year. And then they have a quarterback who's arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, and have the greatest start of all time. But Pacheco, he's been dealing with a lot of issues. The short guy, good God, the second running back, but he's always hurt. The offensive line have been a turntable for the last 3 to 4 years because they losing guys in free agency to bigger contracts. Like that team is that they constantly changing, and one thing that remains is that two things that remains is Andy Reid and that quarterback. Well, 3, and you can throw Travis Kelce in there. So every year he has. Especially this year, you're gonna have a new wide receiving core. So for a guy that said that you have to have good wide receivers, well, the Kansas City Chiefs have already proven that you don't need to have elite wide receivers in order to win. Because Tyreek Hill is gone. How many other wide receivers today? Like, we got a guy that about to go to damn jail at wide receiver, and you got the dude from that they traded for the Giants. He was a bust. So it's like, if you need good wide receivers, then Andy Reid, he's been doing hella good without wide receivers. So Jay, I don't like I said, what you're saying, there's nothing behind it that's true. They done brought back Mecole Hardman, two times already? You saying Andy Reid didn't have control? Yeah, he didn't. He didn't have full control. He wasn't the GM. He didn't have full control. You can go ask any Eagles fan that actually know the truth and not one that's just making up stuff. He did not have full control of it. That's why he went to one team. He only went to one team. Andy Reid could have went to any NFL team in the world. But he went to what? The Kansas City Chiefs, and he won with Alex fucking Smith. Why? Because they were ultimately going to give him the quarterback and the offensive system that he wanted to have a team and a quarterback that he could build. in his image, the way he wanted. And when he got that, he had been on a historic run. So no, he did not have full control. This is no news that Jeffrey Lurie did not give Andy Reid full control, because they didn't respect his ability to bring in talent. I thought that was common knowledge. Lurie did not trust him to have full control. Executive vice president of football is not the GM. It's called the executive vice president. That doesn't mean that you're running. It's called vice president. Anybody know what the president's job is? It's to be the leader. General manager is not the guy who runs it. The general manager is the guy that puts together the roster. Let me say this again. The general manager is the guy that puts the roster together. The team president, president of football operations. Anybody know what football operations means? We're going to give some people some lessons today. We're going to teach a lot of people some stuff today. We're going to teach you, listen, no. Let's just say he was. Let's just say Andy Reid was the general manager. Since Mr. JM think he was the general manager. But anybody know what the general manager's job is to do? Because Mr. J thinks that the general manager is the guy that puts together all aspects of the team. And I hope y'all can use two hands, because Mr. JM, he can't type with two hands. He can't type with one hand, y'all. Oh, don't leave, Jay. Oh. The general manager is a guy that puts together the roster. He hires coaches and he brings in the coaching staff. He helps the coach fill his staff. The general manager. Word speaks for itself. Manager. Manage the team, manages the roster, manages the everything. Okay, he manages every aspect of it. He brings in, he try to figure out what the head coach he wants, his vision, and the players. He brings in the coaches to help him build the team the proper way. The team president is the one with the vision. He hires his coaches. He hires the general manager. He hires the players. He helps the coach bring in players, and they work together to figure out what the vision of that team is. And that's not just one aspect of the team. The team president has the say-so over not only the offense, the defense, and special teams coaches. So the team president is the one that builds the team in its entirety. The general manager does not have that power. He does not have that authority. And oftentimes you see the team president doesn't have the financial power to get rid of guys. They can, but a lot of teams have chief financial officers. So, like I said, with a lot of people, gotta understand football and stop. Stop. You have to stop, okay? Do your research before you come in here, because it's not going to look good. It's not going to be good for you if you come in here without your knowledge. Okay, the West Coast offense is not about 3 wide receivers. I don't know who told who that, but that's not true whatsoever. Okay, you do have the West Coast offense that's in. You do run West Coast offense out of 3 wide receiver sets, but it's not primarily based on 3 wide receivers. The West Coast offense is about quick passes, getting the ball out of it, and running the ball. That's what the West Coast offense is all about. And having a quarterback that can run. There's very few West Coast offenses that don't have a quarterback that can't run. So the West Coast offense is about short passes, getting the ball out of hand quick. It's not about throwing deep passes. But again, this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this live, because a lot of people don't know how it actually goes. And there's a lot. Oh, he would never, look, Jay would never subscribe. Look, everybody lose subscribers. You look, people lose more subscribers than me. You see big channels with millions. They lose hundreds of subscribers a day. I'm good. He all good. Joe Black, what's going on? The only executive position Andy Reid had was EVP football operations with the Eagles, 2012. But again, executive vice president. That's the vice president. He still had to answer somebody. Andy Reid doesn't have to answer to anybody in Philadelphia, in Kansas City, because they give him everything that he wants. That's why he went there to begin with. The way everybody talk about the Saints salary cap, you would think they were $200 million over the cap. Well, they really, they in a lot of trouble. Like they're going to have to, you can do a lot of things, and this is what you can move money around. But what the Saints are doing, they're taking money from the future. So you can always manipulate the salary cap to bring money into, the present year, but a lot of times you're taking money from the future, and that's what the Saints are doing. And that's what a lot of teams aren't willing to do, because some players ain't trying to retire. But even if you retire, based on that contract, the length of that contract, you're still going to be paying these guys even after they retire. The Saints are still paying the Saints are still paying Drew Brees, even after he retired. So this is why everybody trying to figure out what the hell the Saints are doing, because they keep taking money from the future. So you can manipulate the salary cap all you want, but you're taking money from the future. And this is why the Atlanta Falcons have said they're only going to pay guys that they drafted, they developed themselves, and they constantly bring in players that sign 1 to 2 year deals. You very seldom see a Falcon team commit to players past 3 years, because they don't want to be taking a lot of money from the future. And this is exactly what the Saints are doing. So the Saints, if I were them, I would just give it up. But in their head, they still think they can contend for the championship. And that's just, like I said, it's just bad. In 2024, the Browns, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Falcons. And this really just happened with the Falcons because they signed Kirk Cousins to a huge deal. So, and then you got the Cowboys, the Giants, the Colts, the 49ers. The 49ers are another team that spent a lot of money on the offense side of the ball. And this is why people always say, it's like, but the 49ers got a good defense, and they just paid their guy, Bosa. Like, they still got to pay guys. So at some point, the 49ers, it's either they have to trade somebody or not pay somebody. So this is why they're making the decision to only give Brandon Ayuk X amount of money. But Brandon Ayuk, he believed that he's a superstar, and maybe he will be. But as of right now, you're not the best player on your team, so why should I give you $20 million a year? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Why? Because I have a team that could potentially get me back to the Super Bowl and win a championship. So Brandon Ayuk is not a part of that idea. And the Browns, they just screwed themselves giving old boy Watson all that money. So with that being said, you guys don't have any questions. Just wanted to tell you people that the salary cap it exists for a reason. This is why you have to have a system in place as a coach. At this point in time in the NFL, the things that's going to help you have sustained success in the NFL, you have to invest in the trenches, the offensive line, the defensive line, and you have to constantly have wide receivers drafted every 2 to 3 years. You have to, because quarterbacks are getting paid so much money, and eventually that's going to go down. So you can't pay wide receivers $20 to $30 million, and this is something that Brandon Ayuk doesn't get, because the pay scale for the quarterback position is so crazy. A lot of teams are going to take this route. I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to draft your replacement every 3 to 4 years. Maybe you can get that money elsewhere, but it's not personal. But this is where the game is. Until they have established a contract, a salary cap for the quarterback position, guys like Brandon Ayuk are going to suffer. So once you put a salary cap on that quarterback position, every other position is going to have is going to be impacted. Their salary is going to get. So the way that the NFL is going to regulate the pay for this particular issue in the NFL is that they have to fix the quarterback position. They can't keep paying guys $60 million, $70 million, because the way things are going, it's only going to get worse. So you got to give guys that ain't even getting $60 million, but based on they're going to be forced to give these guys this money. Fair to every other position, because a lot of these defense side of the ball, they're going to be asked out. They're going to be moving to other teams. You're going to start seeing defensive players with 15 sacks going into free agency because they chose to sign a wide receiver and a quarterback for $60 and $30 million a year. So in order to regulate the NFL pay scale and make it fair to everybody, they have to put a cap on the quarterback position. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really see anything special about Brandon Ayuk. He's extremely okay. He's Muhammad Sanu. All right. In his mind, he feel when I look at it, I just don't see anything special. And Justin Fields, we not even gonna get in that. But yeah, and like I said before, a lot of people think that, but thinking that ain't the truth. So, Philadelphia Eagles fans, if ain't like JM, don't come on this channel. You can't say stuff that you think and then that you haven't even done your research on. Like this guy literally said that Andy Reid need wide receivers, but you seeing him doing everything without a wide receiver, a dominant number one wide receiver. He got a bunch of number two receivers and a bunch of number three wide receivers, but he needs wide receivers to be successful. Like, what are you talking about? He didn't even need dominant wide receivers when he was with the Eagles. Brian Westbrook was one of the best playmakers on that team. I think they had Deuce Staley too. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't even know your own team, but you gonna come over here with that nonsense. Talking about your team that you don't even know nothing about. You don't even know your head coach. Talking about Andy Reid need a wide receiver. He winning Super Bowls without a dominant wide receiver. He don't want a wide receiver. He don't want a world championship without Tyreek Hill, but we still up here talking about he need a top wide receiver. Oh, he didn't need no top wide receiver. Well, he didn't need it now. So that ought to tell you that Andy Reid did not need a top wide receiver in order to win a Super Bowl. So I think this is interesting too. The Packers are another team we look at. These guys barely spend money like this. They at the bottom of the totem pole with $78 million that they've paid in contracts. Like Brian Westbrook wasn't one of the best playmakers on that Eagles team, but we still here talking about Andy Reid need wide receivers. Boy, get out of here. Kansas City got a league. They literally got a damn tight end who been in the league by 10 years as they leading receiver, pass catcher, but we up here talking about Andy Reid, the excuse why he didn't win in the Eagles is because he didn't have any dominant wide receiver. Well, he don't got them now and he's still winning championships. They had a top 3 defense even then, and they still couldn't win back then. So what'd that tell you? You need luck, you need defense, you need everything to play well together. It ain't about an individual talent. We've been preaching this for years here at AFN. For years. It's about having a team and chemistry and having everything work well together. So with that being said, we're going to have a conversation tonight on the 6-Man K-Style. So if you guys have not subscribed to my brother 6-Man K-Styles, all right, we're going to have a 6-man combo tonight, and I think you're going to like this one. Oh, boy, you're going to like this one. Oh, yeah. So I hope JM has actually subscribed to him, because I love have debate, but when people wrong, they make themselves look stupid. And tonight at 6 o'clock, yes, 6 p.m. All right, it's 6 p.m. for me. Goddamn, it's tonight. Tonight is 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. tonight, 6-man combo. Be there, be square. You definitely gonna like it. Like I said before, man. If you don't know your team, you can't play. You have with AFN, because we probably know your team better than you know your team. We do this over here. History. We do our research. I've been watching the game for years, and trust me, Andy Reid ain't never needed one particular thing in order to be successful. Why? Because that's not that right there is not what success is. If you need a wide receiver to be successful, then you really aren't a great coach. You're dependent on talent. So with that being said, this has been your boy, man, Mike. Oh, you'll get used to it, Dre. You'll get used to the clock. You'll get used to 6 o'clock because football season to be around. Right now, it's not. It's kind of hard to get used to it because, we kind of switched it up, but we didn't really switch it up at all. These are the times that we normally go during the season. We switch things because the Atlanta Falcons niche has been a little bit. You have a lot more Atlanta Falcon creators that really don't know what they talking about or doing. But I enjoy the fact that there are people out here doing it, but too many people trying to do the same shows at the same time. So only the strong survive. But like I said, at the end of the day, do your homework, people. Don't embarrass yourself. Please don't embarrass yourself by saying stuff that's not true. The West Coast offense has always been about short passing, running the ball, and ball control. That has never changed. Don't let these people tell you. 3 wide receivers set is more so a spread offense, not the West Coast offense. It's a variation, and variations aren't the same. Man, Mike, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoyed what we did today. If you want more live shows like this, like I said, hit that subscribe button. Continue to support me and AFN. Everybody who joined the AFN Red and Black event, annual event, it's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be better next year. So with that being said, I'm out of here, man. Peace.